What does Tokusatsu mean to you? To some, it's friendship, love, giant monster fights, action, sadness, happiness. To me, I don't know.
At least, I didn't until I saw Tokusatsu Gagaga.
When it first got released in early 2019, I saw my feed filled with talk of the latest episodes. Watch Tokusatsu Gagaga, it's relatable to any Toku fan.
So I did. I watched the first episode and it was okay.
A female office worker is socially awkward and gets herself into equally awkward situations. Yeah, I've seen a Gretzko before. I get it. There are even karaoke scenes. After that, the show never crossed my mind again. Until late 2019. For some reason, Tokusatsu Gagaga just popped back into my thoughts. Oh yeah, it started out as a manga, right? Neo Tanaba started the story all the way back in 2014. Wait, who?
I've tried looking everywhere I could about them, but I can't find anything. That's a little ominous.
Anyway, I read the first few chapters and it was so good. I love the art, the story, the character of Kano Nakamura. Unfortunately, it barely has any fan translations, let alone official ones. The next obvious thing to do was watch the show. Then the memory came back. Yeah, I guess episode 1 was okay, but the manga is much more charming. As my interest grew in the series, I told my friends that I wanted to watch the show, and they encouraged me to do so immediately, and they even joined me for it. Some finished when it came out, others were watching blindly with me, and the experience was set. We began to watch Tokusatsu Gagaga. Kano Nakamura is an office worker who's considered a toku otaku, but she has to keep it a secret, as other adults would look down on her for watching shows meant for children. Right off the bat, I knew that my anecdotes are going to be different from my peers. I've lived in America for 99.9% of my life, so I don't have any personal experience with the Japanese culture. But I did ask a few of my friends who know about Japan more than I do, and they said that Tokusatsu Gagaga has a pretty accurate representation of how one would be looked at for enjoying shows like Super Sentai and Kamen Rider. I'll save my anecdotes for later, it's just something to keep in mind. Speaking of keeping in mind, Nakamura has her life dedicated to Tokusatsu, so much so that she thinks about what her heroes would do during certain situations, such as helping an old couple on the train and talking about how people should do good in the world. After some shenanigans, she's invited to karaoke night with her coworkers, but she only knows Tokusatsu songs. Nakamura imagines a situation like being part of a TV show, with a monster who tries to discourage her from singing. "What will your coworkers think of you?" says the monster. Then Emmer Jason, an old hero, encourages her to do her best. She sings the Emmer Jason theme and it makes her peers feel nostalgic as a pleasant surprise. On her way back home, Nakamura recognizes a blue keychain of another hero, and it's not owned by a child, but a woman who seems to be older than her.
Yeah, episode 1 was as okay as I remember.
On one hand, you're kinda supposed to give shows time to really pull you in. On the other hand, each episode is about 40 minutes long, about the length as 2 episodes of any other Tokusatsu season. I thought to myself that I watched what I needed to. I got the gist of what the show is about. After some time before writing the script, I realized that some shows are worth watching despite not being good until past their halfway point. I mean, I wouldn't want to wait 20 hours just to get to one good part, but Tokusatsu Gagaga is only 7 episodes. And I was watching with friends, so I can sit through that much at the very least. We learned that Nakamura's mother was strict when it came to Tokusatsu, and would basically punish Nakamura if she chose the boy's toy over the girl's toy, so to say. While out shopping, Nakamura notices a poster advertising a stage show for Emmer Jason and Joshuon, the Super Sentai XP. There, she sees the woman from the train that had the blue keychain. They're both excited to meet another older Toku fan, and they're just as awkward trying to make conversation. The woman is named Yoshida, and she really likes certain parts of the suits. By the end, they sit down at a cafe when one of Nakamura's co-workers notices pictures of heroes in Yoshida's phone. So Nakamura imagines Toraiga, the blue Joshuon, encouraging her to defend Yoshida.
Guys, being 100% transparent, I did not do episode 2 any justice.
There's only so much I can state in a quick recap. Believe me when I say, the stage show scene is one of my favorite scenes in television history. I gave it a 2-sentence summary, but okay, listen. The feeling Nakamura and Yoshida got from finally meeting another Toku fan in public was fantastic. Us hearing Yoshida's thoughts and it being in parallel to what Nakamura is thinking was not only funny, but something I feel has happened with Toku fans. It's the little things, like Nakamura pointing out how Emmer Jason looks wider compared to how he is on TV. Or how Nakamura tries to take pictures with her phone while Yoshida pulls out a giant DSLR camera. One of my favorite character moments is how Yoshida wants to quit watching Tokusatsu. She's older than Nakamura and knew it was time to stop when she recognized a Toku toy and was given weird looks for knowing what it was. Then she met Nakamura and felt reassured that it was going to be okay. It helps that Nakamura's actress does enjoy Tokusatsu in real life, so she most likely understands what it's like to be in these situations. I can't express enough how happy I was with the stage show scene. That's just one scene of an entire 40-minute episode. There is one big point I want to echo you've probably heard, in that Tokusatsu is in the name, and there is Tokusatsu in the show, but this isn't necessarily a Tokusatsu. If you're expecting a lot of action with Joe Shuon and Emmer Jason, well, this isn't about that. In fact, neither are on screen for very long. There's a reason why I keep reusing the same few scenes. You'll have Joe Shuon sometimes in the beginning, sometimes at the end, Asuda shown for a few seconds in the middle, and that's about it. Emmer Jason even less. I will say that this show isn't about the action, it's all about a slice of life with drama, which isn't like something you'd be used to in a toku. There isn't a world-ending villain that the heroes need to destroy. There's a mom who doesn't want her daughter to watch a kids show, a disgruntled co-worker who wants nothing to do with exposing the love of her fandom, and a trip to the beach on a cloudy day. While I do enjoy a good versus evil story with superheroes, I also enjoy the smaller stories, something more grounded. Sorry if you expected the typical toku show, but as I said, this is a slice of life drama. If you're okay with that, then I highly recommend watching. However, that's pretty much all I want to recap. There's something special about this show that I don't want to rob your experience of. Please, 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 if any of this has interested you, then please watch Tokusatsu Gagaga. It's a must-watch for any Toku fan. Although, if you still want to know more, or just want to continue hearing my thoughts, then I'm gonna have a light spoiler warning here. Light spoilers starting in 3, 2, 1. Episode 2 was where I really understood the hype. It was all very charming. The pacing wasn't as dreadfully slow as the first episode. It's where I got invested and wanted to know more about the characters and how the world of Joshuan or Emmer Jason ties back to real life. Actually, let's talk about that. Nakamura imagines heroes and villains by her side whenever she gets into conflicts. Episode 2 starts with a dream sequence where she accidentally calls her mother over the phone. Then the villain of Joshuan makes his debut in the show, and it's really cool. The hero suits look gorgeous, like they really did come out of a Toei-made production. Joshuan's villain especially has an amazing design. Emmer Jason looks like a metal hero. Shishileo of Joshuan has exactly what I expect of a red leader. Really, the suits are great, and so are the in-show set pieces like the quarry we all know, or the hill where we meet our extra hero. You've probably heard this before, and I gotta agree. Tokusatsu Gagaga is a love letter to Tokusatsu. It might be a generic phrase, but it's 100% true. The stories and heartfelt words of these heroes are what we need in everyday life. In fact, we already have them with Super Sentai, Ultraman, Kamen Rider, and even Power Rangers. They're all here and they all have something to say. Being a love letter, there are plenty of Tokusatsu references that I think most of us will get. There's even a cameo at the end from a certain karate bug man that I won't dare to spoil.
I remember I joked around with my friends when it happened. I said something along the lines of, this show can get him, but Toei can't. And I also remember me and my friend were singing his theme song this whole time. And it was a weird coincidence when it happened, and it just blew our minds. It was so good.
And of course, I can't forget about the theme. wait, I recognize this band. Golden Bomber? Yeah, they sing the opening for Kamen Rider Wizard. That's actually one of my favorite Rider themes ever. So naturally, Gagaga's theme is one of my favorite of all time. The lyrics, the beat, the guitar, the break before the chorus. I love it so much. In fact, I've played it on repeat for a whole day before and still haven't gotten tired of it. You can ask my friends who are in voice chat with me. I kept humming it the whole time. Sorry guys, but anyway. Remember that at the end of the day, these shows are still meant for kids, and they need heroic messages to get them through life. There's a recurring character Nakamura meets who is a child going to cram school. We're not blatantly told that something is wrong, but it's basically implied that things aren't going right for him. Although he does watch Joe Shuon, so he imagines the team walking him to school. Nakamura joins him and sees Shishileo preparing his mission and encouraging him to do his best. That's really wholesome. The character even shares some words of wisdom, as kids do when they don't mean to. There are several recurring characters that Nakamura makes friends with, and it all culminates in a karaoke scene where they all sing the Emmer Jason theme. Each one is memorable and each represent a certain type of fan. Oh look, there's even a beach episode. To a Toku fan, Ultraman or Forze might be the first thing to pop into one's mind when I bring up friendship. Well, allow Tokusatsu Gagaga to get into that group. One thing that moves the story is how Nakamura has a want to make friends. I didn't bring this up earlier, but in episode 1, she wishes to meet someone who's just like her. I think plenty of us had similar thoughts when getting into a fandom. Meeting just one other that likes Tokusatsu as much as I do is a great feeling. Now, if I met someone in real life like that, I would be internally throwing a party. You can see that internal celebration with Nakamura and Yoshida. It's kinda why they portray their thoughts as Shishileo and Toraiga, red and blue, the Sentai symbol of friendship. Then when they meet even more people who are like them, it's great for us as an audience seeing them happy together. What I wasn't expecting is showing how they're all friends, even outside their interests. Sure, I'm friends with people who like Kamen Rider, but we're friends who can also talk about other geeky things like Pokemon, Star Wars, League of Legends, other video games, other shows. Beyond that, my closer friends understand me and I understand them on a personal level. I was expecting this to just show friends talking about Toku, but they talk outside their otaku ways too. Like in the beach episode where they get more personal, and another episode where Nakamura feels like she's drifting away from Yoshida, but the reason Yoshida gives is something I'd see in real life. And it's pretty funny when they get past the misunderstanding. Along with the friendship, I'm basically saying that this feels pretty real, and that's another reason to like the show. Well, as realistic as I assume it is, since again, I wasn't born into the Japanese culture. The thing with Nakamura's mom being strict is, I think, portrayed in a realistic manner. I don't necessarily mean how it has to do with Tokusatsu, but with how a parent could react if they find out their child is into something not right in their eyes, whether it's Toku or another hobby. I at least know some stories where parents really can be that strict or ill-mannered. An unsupportive parent can hurt someone, and that's shown quite a bit with Nakamura, if it wasn't obvious enough with the mom being imagined as a villain. And this plotline with Nakamura and her mom, it is really good. I won't say anything beyond the praise, but let me just say when it reaches its peak, it is marvelous. Now, I'm a simple man, the type of guy who says, it's not that deep. I know many of you want me to get into theorizing or want to hear a 10-page thesis on how I would change an aspect of Toku, but that's not me. I give my thoughts on something and tell it like I see it. Sometimes I'll look at a show with more than what's presented, and this is one of those times. Sort of. A writer's intent varies so much depending on whether we know it at all. Here, I can't even find out who the manga writer is aside from a name. With that in mind, what's presented to me seems a bit simple. That's typically what you'd expect in a slice of life show. Something basic that anyone can generally understand. I have that feeling here in a way where anyone can understand what it's like to feel like you're alone and enjoying something. It doesn't have to be as big as the only person in a fandom, but you'll definitely get a better experience if you understand Tokusatsu. If you don't, or only have very limited knowledge, this show is so well written and the acting is so enjoyable that it's just as entertaining to basically anyone. In the end, I could recommend it to a lot of people, but especially Toku fans. However, here's the thing. Despite all the praise I'm giving Tokusatsu Gagaga,
I personally cannot relate to a lot of it.
Being an American, the culture I grew up in isn't what's represented. I can't relate to hiding my love for Tokusatsu because people around me in real life enjoy something just as geeky. Heck, the last hangout with strangers I went to actually brought up a discussion about Power Rangers, Dungeons and Dragons, how bad the ending to Game of Thrones was. This isn't me saying that I'm better off not having the same experience as Nakamura. No. This is me saying that it's okay to have a different background when it comes to watching Tokusatsu. I don't need to be a secret fan in order to enjoy the show. If anything, it made me understand and feel for the characters even more. Tokusatsu Gagaga is such a beautiful show. Even if I don't relate in a Toku sense, I can relate to how the characters are feeling. Their struggles with everyday life, then coming back home to enjoy an episode of their favorite show. The happiness that comes with geeking out about the latest debut of a hero. The feeling of getting someone into a show you like. In one scene, Nakamura witnesses a little girl wanting a Joshuan toy from a not Happy Meal, but the mom says that it's for boys, so she should get a girl's toy. Then Nakamura sends her Shishileo toy over to the little girl. And it's as funny as it is wholesome. Please watch Tokusatsu Gagaga. If you don't like it for any reason, then that's alright. I'm pretty sure I'll understand. For everyone else, the show says something that can reach any of us. It delivers a message saying that it's okay to like what you like. It's okay to feel like you're alone. It's okay to struggle with life. Tokusatsu will be there.
I only gave this rating one time before, and I think this time it's well deserved. Tokusatsu Gagaga is a masterpiece.
As a final anecdote, I very rarely ever bring up my personal life on this channel, but I want to say that late 2019 was a bit rough. In a way, I felt lost, and conflict after conflict didn't help. Then Kamen Rider 01 started airing. I tuned in every week, and in a way, I wanted to be a character like Aruto. At the same time, I was watching Kamen Rider Den-O and couldn't get enough. The characters really spoke to me, saying that it'll be okay. My feelings came to a peak when I started watching Tokusatsu Gagaga. Those months of sadness turned into hope. 01, Den-O, and Gagaga. They each have a special place in my heart for getting me through it all. This is why I love Tokusatsu. In the words of High C, it's a kid's show, but it's a kid's show I care about. To me, Tokusatsu is more than just guys in spandex or karate bugmen. It's love and peace. It's happiness. It's hope.
By the end, I learned to appreciate the show and the genre even more. And now that I'm thinking about it, I and a lot of people would really like to say, I like Tokusatsu because
the effects are so crazy because you always have someone looking after you in spirit.
It could be the gimmicks, the character dynamics, the riveting action, and not to mention the time-hopping story. Iwai!
The acting, the comedy, the music, the fight choreography, it all comes together to create truly unforgettable viewing experiences.
It has more unique aspects in the superhero genre.
It's just comforting, it's warm.
It has given me more opportunity for friendships and a relationship I never would have had otherwise.
They all represent someone protecting the justice out there.
It's so amazing.
It really just helps. I really hope that's the same for others. If not, I would really love to hear what others' reasons are.
I love Tokusatsu because it is a big part of my childhood.
The story of the girl.
Because it really saved me in a bad time in my life.
I would go so far as to say that it molded my late childhood.
The impact that it's had both on my writing and on my wardrobe. How they get back up is an inspiration to all of us in the Toku community.
Inspired me to become better.
Tokusatsu is one of the biggest avenues of imagination I could think of.
Just look at this amazing suit.
Nothing else can be just like Tokusatsu. It's one of a kind, unique, and has so many amazing shows.
It bridges my love for hand-to-hand fighting with some of the characters you bond with over the season.
Toku because it's been a part of my childhood since I was 4.
It's a ray of hope and a bit of happiness every time I get to watch it.
They're all so good.
And how we as a human race can come together to do amazing things.
Because of all the cool stuff you get to buy.
A lot of Tokusatsu have very deep meanings behind them.
Ginga told me to never give up on your dreams.
It connects with everyone's hearts and my heart and mind.
He's one of my favorite mechas of all time.
What primarily draws me to a Tokusatsu series would be the suit designs.
It has long stories.
It made life interesting for me for a while.
It's my cure.
It's the first franchise I got into.
For a while, they were one of the few shows out there who still use practical effects.
You never know what you're gonna get with each individual series.
I met a lot of friends on Tokusatsu and stuff.
It gives me a sense of hope that one day everything is gonna be epic.
It's international.
It's only 1 or 2 years, not like 52.
It opened up a new branch of storytelling to me, which I never thought possible.
I like Tokusatsu because it gives me hope.
This こういうものなの？アイドルのグラビアよりよっぽど意味不明なんだけど。